Good afternoon. This is Archetypal Trader. How's it going? I've got Rick Burton from Sunshine Coast, Australia. How you doing, Berto?
Very well. How are you?
Good,
Actually, I know
man.
how I've been talking to you for the last hour.
This is true. We've been wrapping on all different sorts of crypto-related stuff, but yeah, let's jump straight into screen share and start off with Bitcoin. So I've got
Yeah.
Coinbase and Gemini chart here. Um, yeah, man, what are you seeing?
Very good. Very good. I've just been like looking, yeah, obviously with the weekly close today, man. Yeah, I've got that weekly chart up just like that. We've obviously got that big down trend there on the Tinkinson, huh?
Yeah, it's interesting. We've got all those weeks under the 50% retracement there, and we've
Yeah, it's
got
holding.
that angulation down on Tinkinson. 618 still at 2600, but yeah, the weekly continues to go sideways really. And yeah, I'll jump over to the daily.
Yeah,
So
that 50%, that 50 retrace levels holding for now, as we know on the weekly.
yeah, so I've got like CQSPAN A and B on. I turned that on previously when we were talking. We've got this angulation down, and it is really closing in on each other here. Um,
Mm.
I think it was like $900 difference there. Yeah, like 34 35,000. So yeah, it's like
Yeah.
$900 difference on CQ Spend A and B. Might be shaping up for a twist. We're on. Oh, look at that. We're on day 89, which is a fib number, and then that's day 54 from that impulse bottom here. So
And you know what? Yeah, I was going to ask you to do 52 days because it looks like we might be coming off sort of Seegerspan B from coming down. Like looks like it might slow up here now. Um,
what's
just
interesting too is that that's two fib numbers.
yeah,
Oh, well,
50.
55 tomorrow and 90 tomorrow, but it's 89 and 55. That's maybe that's somewhat of a pivot using that
Huh.
time
Yeah.
analysis and stuff. I'll just draw in that box that I drew in last time. I think it's a pretty important um, fractal area. I missed that bottom. Fix that up. So yeah, we just keep on bounce, bounce, bounce. It's pretty supportive of that area, isn't it? But yeah, boiling it down to Ichimoku strategy, we don't have a bullish TK cross. It'd be a minor bullish TK cross if the blue line becomes above the red line, the Tinkinson above the keychain. But yeah, everything's still trending down and bearish. But the further we go sideways and the smaller this Kumo cloud becomes, maybe a relief rally is in order.
Yeah, what I like about this chart is like if we do get a rally up and it sort of fails again, that within the next sort of fortnight or so, like we could be looking at Kumo breakouts in the 30K area, which is pretty exciting.
Yeah, you're right. Like, what's that? That'd be 25 days if we do a day measure from where we're at the moment. Like, look at that. 25 days. If you
Yeah,
spend
that would.
B is only at 40,000 in 2 weeks' time. And yeah, like we could just go sideways and grind up to a Kumo breakout, which would be interesting. I sort of think also with these like these time counts and stuff, we are due to rally back up to this trend line. Like if I had a GAN fan on and I showed Optima or whatever. Yeah, not a 90-day count. We should get a relief rally up to this $40,000 area, but
Would
everything's
that trend line you've got there now be something around the like $100 degree per degree or something like that? Would it be, or you're not sure?
um
You'd have to bring that up and have a look.
well yeah, we're traveling at $100 per degree once we're above 36,000. I think when we're under 36,000, I'd pivot down to $50 per day or per degree. But
Yeah.
we are in that bull mark figure, and I think price does like to come up to these angles on different like bar day counts. But yeah, that trend line's sort of like CQ-SPAN B, right? It's just
Yeah.
trending down. I think a close above. I'll just take Ichimoku off. A close above this fractal on the daily is pretty. It'd be pretty interesting. I would suspect that would get some bullish volume moving, but as we can see, like the volume's not doing much of anything since this week here. But
Yeah.
maybe we'll bounce over your screen now. Huh? You can show us what you see on the weekly and the daily.
Yeah, I'll just show you a little bit of what I've been doing and how I've been going about it. So I've also got the weekly up here, and we can see this area is a level of support at the moment at the 50, and this one here a little bit higher. You'd call this a bit of local support, and sure enough, we've got this little pattern here that's just supporting itself, isn't it? At the moment, as you can see there. And then what I like to do is then obviously bring those down into lower time frames. So that was the weekly, obviously, and now we come over to the daily, and then you've got those levels all on this chart now.
Mm-hmm.
So this red one being the local support on the weekly, and then you can just see the price action on a daily perspective at that level. And like I've been doing this a fair bit with sort of all other assets as well, just sort of starting out at a macro level and then bringing it into like lower time frames and just watching those levels and stuff. I've got the three screens up on each asset at the moment. This bottom one here, it's a little bit noisy, but
That's a
this
4
bottom
hour.
one is on the 4 hour, and I just find it really fascinating to look at like how like these assets behave at these support levels on lower time frames. Like it's obviously just ranging, but it's really nice to see that happen on a lower time frame, and feel like moving forward as well and becoming better traders, man. I think watching these levels is pretty awesome.
I really like how you set out some support resistance from the macro, and then you've marked those off on lower time frames and stuff. I think that's really I really like that.
Yeah, man, and you can see here how like the Kumo's taken quite a while. It took a while to come down here on the 4 hour, but now it's just been chopping up heaps on the 4 hour. So like, when we have these big corrections, like you just got to be really careful, don't you, to like pay respect to like the overall trend of the market, and like not to get too carried away at like your Kumo breakouts and stuff on lower time frames. Like when it's trending, these are great indications for continuation of the trend. But like when it's going sideways at these sort of like really supportive levels, like you're just going to get chopped up. Like these Kumo breakouts on these 4 hours, like they're just nothing. And when you look at the overall, let's see, we've got our 38.2 and our 50% retrace drawn clearly here. Like you would be really like, if you were like looking to like go long in these areas, you'd just be like, no, well, let's just be silly, because look at where you are on the overall of the correction,
Especially on the 14th there. That was when we were up at that 40K level, and then it was just washed, because we did make a low on the 23rd there. Like that was a pretty big trap for anyone who was going long up at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, man. I don't have a lot to really go over. I just thought I'd show people how I've been going about it. It's a really good way to just bring up what levels you think are going to be support on your larger time frames. Obviously, this area here, there would have been a lot of expectations to see that as potential support on this move down from probably here. There probably would have a lot of people that lost money. I think I might have had some buy orders in around this area.
I was one of those people that lost money.
Yeah, I think I had some buy orders at the Kijun,
I had buy orders on that fractal. I thought that fractal was gonna support for sure, because it's lying out with 38.2 in that. But
and so oh god, if you just I just highlight this area with another trend, like with a line here on top of that fractal area. So like that could be an area to trade out of as well. Like if you want to take a really low risk approach, you could potentially trade out of this area.
Mhm.
Uh, and now that we've got another fractal here, you could really even trade out of that one and just bring that one down to this ball fractal and then trade out of that one. And what I mean by that is like we've got this line here, but it's also popped up here on my daily. You could potentially trade out of that fractal on a daily perspective if you wanted to. Wouldn't be a bad area to like trade out of. And by that I mean if you get a close outside that area, potentially, maybe go long and stuff. And then if it comes back under, you might get chopped up a little bit, but it would definitely be an area where you would think a trend might occur if it was to want to go up. Yeah. What else are we doing? What other areas of support have we got here? It's really our fib retracement that's holding it together for now, huh?
Yeah, a lot of people, I don't know, are liking 23 and the 20K level and stuff. It's a good question, man, because I'm pretty dubious, really. I think.
Well, just looking at the daily, like as the way we trade, like we're pretty, but we're bearish until I guess we start breaking bull fractals up here again.
Yeah, we
Again,
need to break bull fractals, and then obviously, Keyjune has to be support rather than resistance, because it's just been resistance on 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th attempt. It's
yeah,
definitely not acting like support.
no, and like that's the 24K level still in play here, like with just your standard 1, 2, 3
Extension
continual
down.
back. So just extending this move here from here, like that's still obviously in play until we break this fractal.
Can you zoom in on just the daily chart there, and what numbers is that bringing up on the way down?
Yeah, so 24K, the 161. Sometimes you'll get here without even. Sometimes you'll get these moves without even a fractal in between. Like like that happens occasionally. So anything's on the cards for now. But if we are trending up, we could be looking at 40K.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the moment, I guess I could delete those. I could put like a little range in here for now. On our move up, that's our range for now. So you could potentially trade out of here again if you wanted to trade out of here for a potential move up to around the 40K area. That's a pretty robust sort of way of swing trading, I guess you could say. And also, like I know you like to get in on these levels when you can sort of see a potential move coming in and stuff, but they're obviously lower probability. A higher probability trade is outside of this area, isn't it? Or even a retest first and then.
From a horizontal support resistance sort of standpoint, and I guess it's just interesting, like the COVID dump. I think it was 34 days, and we're back above Sigisband B. I don't know how many days it was.
Holy shit!
Huh?
Yeah, I remember you pointing that out a while back, huh?
Yeah, and I just sort of think I don't know how many days it took to get back to the Kumo even. It's probably less than 34 days for us to get back in the Kumo. And it's like it's 54 days, mate. We haven't even touched the Kumo. And it's just so slow and grinding sideways. It's almost like it from an intuitive standpoint, it just feels like the market's like sucking you in to go long, and then we get completely rejected here, and we just start the next leg down. We don't even touch the Kumo and get that opportunity for like a run up to 40K or whatever. I think, the big line in the sand is like 30,900 to 35K. If we get a full daily candle close below those levels, I just think that it's real danger.
Yeah, well, this is our local support now, isn't it? In this
Yeah.
area. There's nothing really wrong with it coming down and testing this again if it wanted to. But yeah, if we did break this level now, like that'd be pretty disastrous. And like we might like you could get a nice little swing trade off of this if we got a Keyjune bounce trade and it didn't close too far beyond this level here, you could swing trade that, to this level pretty comfortably. With not much risk, although you're not going to get a fractal for a while, so the risk is pretty high. for a shitty little move till a really strong support. Do you know what I mean? You're in a rock between a rock and a hard place in a lot of ways with a trade out of here. Like it's technically a beautiful Kijun bounce trade if you come down and close under here, but you've got a decent amount of support there. So yeah, man, it's
Do you think there's going to be a TK cross coming there? Like,
oh yeah. So if we do our 8 days, which is actually 9 candles, 8. So the Tinkinson's going to actually drop tomorrow.
oh,
It's actually going
yeah.
to come down. So if I do I've got a new one here where I do this. So that's kind of that's your range on your Tinkinson, yeah. And then if we box it in, so I box that range in there. I know it looks a little bit noisy. I'll delete that, but that's basically our area for our Tinkinson, right? So where are we? That box is misleading us. Basically, from here, it's going to come down to here, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's that? It's going to be $674. So we'll get half of that in the Tinkinson. So it'll come down what $340 or something tomorrow. And Kijun is also coming down. So Kijun will actually come down more. So we will get a TK cross. But if you look at like the Kijun coming down like that, like it's pretty bearish. Like it's just lowering the equilibrium of the market in a downtrend. So it's not great. It's not great at all.
Yeah, it'd be a minor, like it'd be a weak bullish TK cross if it does.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing to get excited about that when it's underneath the cloud. But yeah, it's pretty interesting, where we're sitting. It's just pretty much hands off and just waiting to see what direction we're going to get here.
Yeah, man. Really. And it's only going to come down more again the next day. So you're going to get half that, and then you're going to get this. So in the next 2 days, we're going to get $1,500 down on the Kijun. And the only thing that would negate a $1,500 move down over the next 2 bars would be if we started breaking this here. If we started breaking this one here, it would negate that a little bit. But yeah. Anyway, we do have a potential, short signal coming in tomorrow if this, continues to reject at the Kijun and closes under here. That is a technical short signal on Bitcoin, and this is looking quite bearish. But like we said, we might get a twist in the next, sometime in the foreseeable future. Yeah, so I think that's about it on Bitcoin, mate.
All right, I'll jump over to Ethereum then.
Yeah, sweet, man. Ethereum inside bar today, mate.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me about that. I probably wouldn't have seen it. Yeah, so the weekly, I am on Kraken Perpetuals. That won't do us. Let's go to the Bitstamp. Alrighty, so yeah, we were mentioning before, we've got that TK cross on the weekly for Ethereum. So that's a bearish TK cross above the cloud. So that would be a sell signal. It's not really a sell signal. You would have sold ages ago. You're not going to wait for a TK cross on the weekly for a sell signal.
Yeah.
But we crossed bullish back on June 20 on the weekly. And what was that at? That was like at a close of 245. So that's a fair amount of time ago. It's 12 months, That's interesting.
Yeah.
So I'll just throw on a fib to see what that looks like. Just from the COVID dump on the complete range. We got the 61.8 test a few times at the $1,700 level. We're below the 50% retracement. And yeah, we had mentioned, I think in our last presentation, that yeah, we're finding some support on these previous bull fractals here on the weekly, but yeah, that's problematic to get this TK cross from a macro standpoint.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great, is it? What I do, what my brain does though, when we get these these weak TK crosses, whether it's above or below, but when we get them as a weak one, meaning like this one, it's above the cloud and it's a bearish TK cross. What my brain does is I kind of get excited because it sets up for a potential to be a really strong one, in the future.
Yeah.
Like.
But they don't happen often, do they? Like these large
No.
shifts. So
No, and like you said, man, like it's it's a large time frame, so you're not really trading off of this, but it can really be a confirmation in a few weeks' time. Like if we continue higher than that low there, that previous low, like if we continue higher, like that Tinkinson, will start to come back up, man, and you could get that really strong bullish TK cross on a weekly perspective. Would be pretty fantastic.
yeah, like that's a good point. If we fast forward, like we're only in July at the moment. If it's like late September, October, and we get a TK cross, bullish TK cross above the cloud, we'd be banging the table. I mean, geez Louise.
Absolutely.
I'll move back over to the daily on Ethereum. So yeah, we've got this small Kumo cloud coming in, similar to Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've found some resistance getting back above the Kijun. We've had the TK cross. That's minor bullish here. Yeah, I remember I put in this fractal previously. I'll just take off the Kumo.
Yeah, so she's rejected that, hasn't it?
Yeah, we really did come in here. I think we were sort of, last conversation was, I think, this day here. I was like, oh, far out. Like, if we break this, we're in business, somewhat in business. But yeah, it was sort of like we just created another bull fractal and we never broke through that level. And we're just going sideways. It's a bit of a nothing, it's a bit of a nothing market, really. 100-day moving average, we're still below that. I'll just remove.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to do, eh?
Yeah, I'll just remove Tinkin. I'll delete off all this sort of stuff. So what are we seeing? Didn't draw this on Bitcoin previously, but I can go over it.
Yeah.
16.8's at 33.69. Yeah, it just looks like we're just range bound, aren't we?
Yeah, and if we can manage to start like breaking out and stuff like it, yeah, that obviously that 618 will be a real level to watch, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting predicament we're in. Well, I didn't mention it before on Bitcoin and stuff, but like we could be getting Kumo breakouts, and they're bullish setup, they're technical bullish setup from a daily perspective, which is higher probability. But we're going to have the 61.8 to deal with, so it could only turn into be like a 10 or 15% move. So we're going to have to be very aware of these levels. I would assume there'll be a lot of selling interest at those levels, but I'll just drew in this bottom fractal area because I can see like prices checking this level, isn't it? Quite interesting. You see we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wicks down in this level, and we had a lot of daily transaction there. So yeah, it's just going to be interesting to see how these markets perform over the next week, because the directions, we've got no real clear direction at this stage, do we?
No, not at all. Not at all. Very good.
Do you want to? I'll stop sharing. You can give us a
yeah. So again, I've just got the same setup as I did before. Got the weekly here.
Are you presenting the screen? I don't have it.
Oh yeah, just one more step I didn't I didn't click. You got me there?
Yeah, gotcha.
You got me now?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've got the same setup here as I do with Bitcoin. Got my weekly over here. I've got my daily on the top left and the 4 hour down the bottom there. So yeah, I'll just bring up the weekly just to get like a macro standpoint of where we're at and what levels to watch. So obviously this would be, this is like what you would call a local support area at the moment because of the move that came in here with this bullish engulfing, which is that's fairly bullish move really, but it's off this fractal like you just pointed out. I've created this box tool to make it a lot easier to draw these levels in, which is pretty cool. Just makes things a little bit faster. But yeah, pretty much you've showed all that area. What else did I want to show?
Did you say there's an inside bar on the daily too? I didn't see that. I didn't mention that.
I'll bring that up here now. So obviously I've drawn that fractal area in here, and it's come up on all my other charts, which is obviously nice and handy because we know that's our level on a weekly standpoint in terms of like a support area.
Yep.
You can now see it on our lower time frames, which is pretty cool. But yeah, we've got this inside bar. I'll just draw the bottom of it and the top of it here with some lines. So yeah, generally an inside bar break will give an immediate sort of direction in the market potentially. So yeah, a close above that could indicate maybe we get a little move up. I do have some other indicators here that I use as well. I don't know if I've mentioned them before, but I'm still learning them. But like with this green coming up here, and it's leading this one here, this could mean like higher highs. It does need to come up and break this red, but I mean, it looks pretty likely that it's going to do that. And you can go to lower time frames and just see how these are performing to see like what the likelihood of this coming up and breaking this, during this, at the close of business day. It's pretty likely that this is going to come up and close above it. And when it leads that white energy there, it can mean higher highs, which would mean potentially higher than this. And I've been watching this indicator and playing with it for a number of months, and it has been pretty robust in doing, what it's indicating. So yeah, man, like I do see the potential for maybe a bit of a breakout here in Ethereum, but it's low probability still. And as we said in Bitcoin, like it's a pretty similar setup on the Kijun here. Like if we came down and we close under the Kijun, it's another Kijun bounce trade, and it would be a short trade. With the Kijun obviously coming down here, like it'd have to close below it to be a bounce trade. But yeah, that would actually be quite interesting, wouldn't it? Because it would be a Kijun bounce and a inside bar break, potentially. Yeah, but yeah, I think I'm seeing maybe a potential wave up, personally. And if I went down to like the 12 hour, yeah, maybe we'll see some resistance with this indicator when these two are below 50. So this is 50 here. When they're both below like that, you can see resistance hold generally at this yellow basis, which is just a 20 period moving average. Yeah, man, like we could see a potential move here in Ethereum, but there's nothing really guaranteed about it at the moment. I don't really see any real high probability of it just for now. Yeah, that's sort of my two bob really, mate. But yeah, just showing people I like to put these levels on the higher time frames, and then you can break them down into lower time frames if you've got the time to trade them.
Yeah.
So with this inside bar, for instance, you draw your levels there on the daily, and then you can go to your 4 hourly and you can see them here and you can trade off them if that's what you want to do. Like if you wanted to get in a bit earlier and be a bit more aggressive about it, like you could potentially come down here and wait for maybe a 4 hour or even an hourly break outside there and trade in and out of it. Like if you go to close outside of it, you buy, and if you get to close outside. Sorry, if you go to close outside lower, obviously it'd be a short. If you go to close outside higher, it'd be a long, and you just trade in and out until you get a trend. Good way to get chopped up though too.
Yeah, it's definitely
certainly not as easy as just trading like a Kumo breakout. which is, you know, back tested and shown to be pretty powerful trend changing opportunities.
Yeah, it's pretty, yeah, those higher probability trade setups are a whole lot easier, and you've got a nice, easier location to set your stops and stuff as well. But
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, man.
So we'll finish off with Cardano, huh?
Yep, let's do it. Yeah, and yeah, if anyone, you know, if the, you know, anyone's out there that want us to look at anything, like, yeah, just write it in the comments, and we can look at anything.
Yeah, we're agnostic. Any coin, we'll cover it. We'll throw it under the bus for you. Yeah, so I'm on Perpetual. I'll just find a. Who's got the data? ADA. Finance. Okay, sweet. Yes, so weekly on ADA, trading within this this bull fractal here. Tinkerson and Kijun still remains bullish. They're sort of somewhat coming in toward each other.
Yeah.
And from a fib retracement perspective, I think we're at the 50% retracement. Like, yeah, we're above the 50% retracement. I think on Ethereum we're just below it. Interesting. Last week's an inside bar. By look at that.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, I've just drawn that on mine here. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's an inside bar on 88. So closing above $1.48 on the weekly would be interesting. I think that would somewhat contradict the daily, but yeah, that's an interesting perspective on 88. I'll just jump.
Yeah. Did you mention that it had broken the Kijun today? What are you on, Binance? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so it actually Kijun broke. Has that done that before? Doesn't look like it.
No, it hasn't. No. It was like a hammer there before it, massive hammer. But yeah, she broke today, and on, like, I think you've got US dollar, do you? Yeah, you've got US dollar up, which isn't actually traded on Binance. It's their calculation of it. But with the tether, the Kijun, I think it was like 10 cents. Hey, like, it was ridiculous.
I just switched it over to Tether now.
$1.37, and it closed 37.50. Closed 30.
By 10 cents, 9 cents, yeah.
Isn't that interesting? On a weekly, and it closed that much difference.
Sell it all. Yeah, that's interesting. That's really getting down the gritty, far out scale.
I think it's showing a really obvious sign of support, isn't it? You know, for now, even though it did close slightly under it. But if you were in a long and you were playing a long game and you didn't have much time, and you're still in it, you'd probably consider selling.
Yeah, so this red bar, she's inside bar, and yeah, just closing on the Kijun. You see this angulation up in Kijun and down in Tinkerson and stuff. And yeah, it's an inside bar, so it'd be interesting to see how we resolve this week. But yeah, obviously it's early doors, intra-week, I should say. I'll zoom back out and I'll jump over to the daily chart.
I'll just say something there on the weekly. Like, if you do get a close, you know, above that candle in the next week, you know, you could potentially have a bias to the upside if you felt like it, in terms of on a macro level, because that is a trade, you know. But you'd have to be very careful, and you'd use this daily chart to find some edge in that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting, Like, yeah, I personally be drilling down to the daily to look for a setup there. But yeah, absolutely. Like, if that's in your trading plan, it's most definitely a buy signal from a weekly standpoint. But yeah, I suppose looking at it from from a daily perspective, yeah, the Ichimoku system would contradict that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, the weekly, beg my pardon. This is the daily. I drew in this fractal because that fractal actually, yeah, had been rejected on the Kijun. That similar sort of bear fractal here, and yeah, we're continually making higher bear fractals on 88, so that's encouraging. Inside bar is encouraging. We're still trading in this level. There's some support, but yeah, the daily it's similar. Kumo's getting a lot smaller. We have had the TK cross, blue line above red line, Tinkerton above Kijun. It's a weak bullish TK cross. But yeah, we continue to grind sideways. We are creating these fractal areas, so it's going to be interesting if we resolve above this $49.50 area.
Yeah.
That could
But just
definitely bring in the volume. But yeah, volume's still pretty.
yeah, it's still pretty low. Well, it's dropped, hasn't it? It's been dropping. That's interesting.
Which isn't great, eh?
No, that's not good at all. So it is interesting though, like I think the more experience I get as a trader, like I think like some of these patterns, man, like that's quite a bullish pin pattern in some ways, or that low there, that previous low, like that, like
This one.
yeah, like there's a lot of buying coming in there, you know, like and it has like turned around like that. Probably opportunity for some decent swing trading there. It's a double bottom. You know, if you were drilling right down into that and you had, you know, you had some risk at play, like you could have really traded that wick.
Yeah, that's really getting down into lower time frames and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, that's good, man.
I reckon there probably was divergence. Yeah, there was. Yeah, there's divergence right on that. You can see it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the 4 hour there. Yeah. Do you want to do a wrap on 88?
Yeah, I'll have a gander. I think you've pretty much covered. There's not a lot really happening with it at the moment. Let me just jump over and I'll do a similar thing again. I've got the weekly up here. Can you see me? You see me? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, again, this guy here this bottom indicator on crossing over the red here, like that's quite bullish and being above this guy. Again, that's showing signs of potential, at least a potential wave up coming. You really need it to come up and close above the level 50, but there's potential there for like maybe we get a move up. Whether you know all-time highs on the cards, it's way too early to know that. But yeah, we could be looking at a bit of a wave coming in up. Yeah. Where are we at? We're just sitting within these bull fractals on a weekly perspective. So you could say that, you know, we've made this really bullish move and now we're testing all these bull fractals. What's the lowest one? This guy here. On a macro level, you could say that we're still just within this area, mate, just testing these bull fractals. If the bull market, you know, is to continue and we're in December, January, and this thing's at like $8 or $9, like you would look at this area as like an area that would have been a fantastic area to buy. Obviously, we're far from that right now, but that's kind of the reality of it for now. On a daily perspective, yeah, I don't think I've really got much to say apart from what we've just gone over. I do like having these areas from the higher time frames in here to see. But yeah, obviously it's quite easy to get rid of them when it's just giving you a headache. Yeah, this being quite flat, I guess, you know, you could say that if we do get a wave up, that this would be quite a resistance for ADA. But again, like far out, man, that's a long way away, eh?
Is that an inside bar on 88 too?
On the daily, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it isn't. I didn't see it today if it is. No, just not.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just not.
Yeah, we need some volume, eh? Like, I don't know what the market's doing. It's just grinding sideways. I think it's really it just seems like it's just one of those markets where it can really get underneath people's skins and get those emotional trades going, which is somewhat dangerous. We don't have any real clear direction. It could just chop sideways for another 2 weeks
Yeah,
before
absolutely.
dying 1,000 deaths. Like that goes for pretty much all of them, man. Like that's what I
Absolutely.
say.
And yeah, and something of note here, like if people are wanting to get bullish on ADA, which like it's far from that right now, but like it didn't even do a 50% test here.
Mhm.
So like if you just look at this from like a like a real macro standpoint, like we've created this lower high here, like you would, yeah, I think there's a lot of risk in here still because we haven't even done a 50 or a 618 on this move.
It's interesting, like we never lost the 100-day moving average on ADA the whole way up, and now we're consolidating under it. But like a 100-day moving average isn't like a massive macro indicator or anything. It's just a template we use for more the Ichimoku system. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, right? Because Ethereum's under it, ADA is under it, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe there's a scalp up and a counter trend rally up that will print like a reasonable trade, but yeah, there's no confirmation.
Yeah, it's just there's just there's going to be opportunities, but they are definitely high demand at the moment. High like they're kind of needy trades. Like you wouldn't there's not a lot of trades at the moment where you can just set a stop loss and forget about it. It's like you kind of need to be onto them and stuff because they could turn around pretty fast. Like just no clear trend, huh? Yeah. What can I show this guy? So yeah, this guy's coming up quite hard. That's looking pretty handy for higher highs. But really, this guy needs to come up and close above level 50. With this down here, like it's no wonder that it's still really struggling to break out with any real momentum because you got the red RSI under 50. But this is a good sign with the green leading, and it's also a good sign because this blue one's a slower mover. It's a good sign that it's above level 50. The red will move a bit faster, and so what are we on the daily? So maybe tomorrow, if this continues, and we can get the red to close above level 50, like we could be looking at higher highs. But yeah, there's no probability there yet of that happening. Yeah. I don't know about you, but I've been pretty well hands off for a while.
Yeah, I just want to see those like previous three bull fractals on these assets to be broken before, I don't know, I'd get in there into like a 4 hour or even a lower time frame and try to suss out a reasonable fractal and stop loss, measure me risk up, and then play a scalp up. It's probably it's a possibility. It may come. It's just it's analyzing where you're gonna set your risk parameters and stuff like that. But yeah, it's all pretty just go to sleep sort of market, isn't it? it's just begging for dumb liquidity to come in and get slaughtered.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I guess it's like you've been doing a bit of a little bit of fundamental analysis and stuff, mate.
Yeah, it's been good. I subscribe to the Block Research. I've been reading a lot about automated money makers and around the DeFi sort of space and stuff, and just looking at the yielding platforms and stuff that are coming online and what's happening around venture capital, around the market and stuff. I think it's all very interesting, and it's sort of cool to pivot toward that. I usually ignore it because I'm mainly technical, but now that we've lost a 38.2 on the weekly and stuff, you sort of need to be putting your focus or your libido into other things and just pushing the market around with your shit technical analysis. That's more of a swipe at like, I don't know, just being a trader, you can sort of sit there and look at 17 hour, the 15 minute, the 2 minute, and just like project onto the market and just make stupid shit trades. So yeah, just looking at the fundamentals and taking a step back, because yeah, if this goes into a bear market for the next 18 months, 20, 24 months, I think there's a lot of other opportunities around the yielding space, especially like if these yielding tokens like Celsius or Yield Up or Nexo or whatever, if they get like a 90% retracement, I'll be so interested in accumulating those from the long term, because
Yeah.
I think inevitably that's the next frontier within the crypto.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating space, isn't it? When you look at like the current financial system and like the interest rates available for people with capital, like it's pretty fascinating what's happening, huh?
Yeah, I think the average person doesn't give a fuck about Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's too volatile. They don't care about it. What they care about is like getting 5% return on their money. And once they understand stable coins and the crypto space, and they can get 4% or 5% yield when Commonwealth Bank gives you like 0.25% on a term deposit, like that's what will bring people over to the crypto ecosystem from my perspective.
Yeah. Yeah, fascinating stuff. Very good, mate.
Alrighty, man. Well, yeah, we can leave it there, and maybe we can link up Thursday or Friday or something if you've got the time.
Yeah, sweet, mate. Let's keep in touch.
Okay, buddy. This is Archetype Australia. This is Berto in the Sunshine Coast. I'm in Estonia. Signing off. See you, man.
Peace.